Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm Dr. Swati, I'm a periodontist, and this video I'm going to talk about something which is very important, interview process. Now, congratulations if you've made this far, you've been selected for the interview and you're watching this video to get an idea how to prepare for an interview. For all the others who are still in the process of applying, good luck. And this interview video is going to help you understand what goes into preparing for the interviews. Now, you must have heard a lot about interviews from your friends, you must have read about it, must have watched a lot of videos. So, you would be having a pretty much good idea about how to prepare. But still, there's a lot of anxiety that stays when you're preparing for these. The most of the anxiety comes from why are they even interviewing? I get a lot of messages at board aspirants, we got a lot of email from people, and everyone wants to know about how to prepare. So this video is not going to be very lengthy. I'm just going to be giving you a few important tips about what this interview process is about, why you need to know about how to answer the different questions, and then at board aspirants how we help you get prepared for the interview. So let's get started. First question is, why are they even doing this interview process? Okay, so just understand, as in my previous video also, tell us about yourself, the link of which will be added in this video. I said that this is a behavioral interview, or this is a behavioral question. There are lots of behavioral questions that are asked in this whole process. I will be only talking about the basic questions in this video, and there will be a second video in which I'll talk about the ethical questions. Now, the most important question that is often asked, which you often would have heard from everyone, is tell us about yourself. Now, tell us about yourself is a very simple question, right? Tell us about yourself, which would be where you come from, what are your aims, have you been practicing dentistry, or why did you even decide to be a healthcare professional? What is so interesting about you? But why are they even saying? Why they even want to know so much? You already have sent them a statement of purpose. They already have an idea about what you've done or what are your goals are. Be it a personal statement, be it an academic statement, you told the school something. But remember that what you told them was just a preview. That was just an idea they got about you, but they didn't come to know much about your personality because they haven't talked to you. Another important thing that I would want to focus on here is that don't be so anxious about this question. Okay, this is just a way for the school to know you and also to tell you about themselves. Because if when you are mentioning about your goals, about what you want to be in your academic or you want to be in a clinical setting, the school will actually be telling you what their school's policy is, what their school's focus is, or you can even ask them about that. And this is going to be telling the school if you are a good fit for the school or if their school is a good fit. This interview is not only to get to know about you. This interview is a chance for the school also to sell their school, to tell you about their school. As much as they want a good candidate, as much as you want the school, they also want a good candidate. So it's a very mutual kind of a setting where both the parties are trying to understand each other. Okay, so be very confident. If you've made to the interview process, you have to really trust yourself that there was something in you that the school has liked, and now you just have to tell them more about you, and from there things will go on further. Okay, so coming back to tell us about yourself, an important point is that you can always answer this question either in a very cliche manner, which would be like tell us about tell them about where you come from, why do you want to be a healthcare professional, like a whole story. But remember, this whole story should not be more than 4 minutes. The school is interviewing so many people. The school is interviewing more than 400 candidates, and they want to just get an idea about you in those 4 minutes. So those 4 minutes can either be very boring or they can be very interesting. Now, another important point here is that some students say, I'm not a very humorous person. I can't make you laugh. I have nothing interesting to say. So, what will I say about myself in such an interesting manner? The schools will remember me. And you don't have to really try so hard to become all of a sudden a humorous person or pretend. Okay, be genuine, be as much honest as you can be yourself. But everyone has something very interesting. At board aspirants, when we prepare our students for these kind of questions, we help you understand, we help you kind of delve into understanding your own personality. Because at the end of the day, these are behavioral questions which are meant to understand your personality. And your personality, you have to tell them, not by just telling them I'm a hardworking person, or not by just telling them I was interested in healthcare, but by telling them why. And that why has somewhere a reason which you might not be able to just understand or remember. But when we discuss things, or maybe you can take a help of a friend, you'll probably understand where that thing stemmed from. Okay, it can be very simple reason as to I've seen people wearing white coats, or I was very fascinated when I used to go to a dental clinic or a hospital, to a very complicated reason or very genuine other family reason. Family people in the family are doctors. Okay, but there is always something that you can talk about. The only thing that has to be done here is that you have to think about it, and that's where the point of preparation comes in. Many people might have told you you have to be really prepared. Yes, preparation is the key. Preparation is the key, where you have to have the keywords, where you have to remember I have to say these things, but not over preparing to the extent of cramming it and not just vomiting it out what you prepared. You have to prepare, you have to know what you want to tell about, and you have to just say that, not cram the whole 5 minutes answer and tell it there, because that's not what they're looking for. Another important question that the schools usually ask is what are your strengths and weaknesses? And this is another important question where students find it hard to answer. They are always wondering what are really my strengths, because everyone is told you don't be repetitive. Don't say I'm a hardworking person. Don't say this, don't say that. But then what would you say? These are the very common things, very common strength. So what you can actually say is, yes, I'm a very hardworking person, but just have something to justify, have something to substantiate your claim that I'm a hardworking person. And that is where every student will differ. Even if 10 people say I'm a hardworking person, those 10 people will have a very different story to justify that hard work. And that story is something that can stick with them. Okay, now you don't have to lie about it. You can have something very boring made into a very interesting way also. And this strength, there are loads of strength other than I'm a hardworking, I'm a perseverant person. And even if you have to justify them, the examples do not necessarily have to be dental related or medical related. They can be personal experiences. When I was asked about these questions, I didn't quote most of the dental related stories, though I had a long experience. But mostly things that I was saying is personal. Now, remember that personal reasons, personal stories is also a way to reflect on your nature. Because what you are as a person will be reflected in what you are in a professional life also. They're not very different, although there is a borderline, there's a line which you should never cross. But then, if you do not have a dentistry related story or a medicine related story to tell them, or to justify your claims about your strengths or weaknesses, you can reflect on your own personal stories and talk about it. Again, we can always help our students, we always help them to understand these points and how to prepare for them. And third most important thing that I would want to focus on in this video is, they often ask you things from your CV. So please be prepared. Do know what you've written in your CV, do know what you've written in your SOP. Third most important question that I would want to talk about here from a CV is, they ask you if there has been any gap. If after you finished a dental school, your undergrad or grad school, was there any reason you couldn't pursue? Now, mostly people have a tendency to lie about it and say, I did so much, so, but you might not have any way to justify it. So please don't lie. If you did not do anything, it doesn't mean the school will judge you and not take you. If you can prove to them some other way that you are a hardworking person, and you will compensate for that. I remember reading somewhere that a student had mentioned that when they asked him that there was a 6-year gap in his after his dental school, what was he doing? And then he said, I couldn't do because he had some personal issues. And then he was talking about that from the past 1 year, what he's been doing to get back, and how he still remembers everything, and how he's still going to perform very well in the dental school despite the fact that 6 years has been a long time. So yes, you can always, this could be a weakness. This could be something that is, you have to justify. But you can come up with a way to justify. You can always come up with a way to tell them that I will be a good student. I will not leave the program in between. It's not going to be that hard for me to remember my basics, because basics is something that you never forget. We just have to tell them that. We just have to find a way to put it across. So, like I said, this video was just a way to tell you the kind of questions that you can get, the most important question, the most important way to answer those questions, not to make it cliche, try to make it interesting, try to prepare yourself for the interview, but not over prepare, not cram, but just have the keywords in your mind. And very important, another tip is, please don't be anxious. Okay, anxiety is very common, but understand that if you've made this far to the interview call, there is something in you that the school likes. So be calm, don't be anxious, and be honest. Honesty is something that each school values, everyone will value. Be honest. My next video will be on ethical questions, something is very important, something that's very commonly asked again, and students find it really hard to understand what are those ethical questions, why are you asked those questions. I will be discussing again in my next video. This will be again a very short video. We'll be looking forward to any kind of comment, any kind of question you have. You can always email us. I will be leaving the email ID of both aspirants. We have this mentorship program. You can inquire about it. We help our students with your SOPs, your personal statement, CVs, and your interview process. You can email and inquire. And until then, good luck. Bye bye.